my name is Nigel Maynard, editor-in-chief of Drugstore News, and welcome to our news series that explores the trends, news, and people in the resurgent beauty business. For our first guest, we are talking to Renée Reid, the Senior Brand Manager, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion at Ulta Beauty. Renée, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I'm so happy that you're talking to us. Because Ulta is a major player in the beauty business. And so I think you're a good person to have on for our launch. So my first question to you is, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening out there on the ground in the beauty business, or even at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, beauty continues to thrive, right? I know there was a lot of industries that were really impacted by the pandemic, but beauty continues to be on the up and up. Now that, people are back open, the outdoors are open again and people are starting to communicate and see each other in person, whether it's at work, social gatherings, weddings, celebrations, and things of that nature. Consumers are continuing to dive into beauty more and more, engaging from all areas, from color cosmetics all the way through skincare. And the one thing with beauty as well is that, it's across all ages, right? Like Gen Zers continue to love going to malls and shopping and touching and feeling products and testers and things of that nature. And then when it comes down to clean beauty, that continues to be on the rise. It's definitely not it's definitely something that's going to continue to take shape in the coming years. And a lot of consumers are really focusing on the ingredients, thinking about not only what they put in their body, but what they put on their body, thinking about the environment as it relates to sustainable packaging. And so you see a lot of innovation. You see a lot of beauty brands kind of rising to the occasion to be able to meet the needs of various guests. And of course, when it comes down to all things BIPOC as well, you see a lot of entrepreneurs of color coming out with really great innovation, and you've seen consumers really supporting it with their dollars.
Yeah. So tell us about where you came from and about your background and what brought you to Ulta.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I actually started my career off on Wall Street. I did investment banking in the healthcare group, and this was during the credit crisis, so probably not the most popular time to be in banking. But thought I wanted to pursue it. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I studied chemical engineering and business, and really want to pursue the business side of things. And so that's really where I started my career. But ultimately, my passion is to run my own business. So after I did the analyst program for a couple of years, I decided to shift gears and work in education nonprofit, where I got the chance to shadow a CEO of an education nonprofit to really understand what is top of mind for CEOs, what keeps them up at night. And so that was a really interesting role of being his chief of staff. And then I went off to grad school to study my MBA at the Wharton School. And then from there, I went straight to management consulting. Really great way of really understanding how businesses work. Because one of the greatest learnings I've had from nonprofit is that, strategic thinking is important for the longevity of a business. And so you can be a visionary, but you need to have the strategy behind it and the execution to really support that. So that's what led my way to consulting. And then from there, I realized I loved working on projects where I was the end consumer, right? I liked working on oil and gas, but I also liked working on, CPG. And so from there, I was I got a chance to work at Ulta Beauty, and I started off in the corporate strategy group, and the rest is history. From Canada, I didn't know much about Ulta Beauty because, it's primarily in the US, but I've been here for 5 years and I had amazing, time throughout different aspects of being at Ulta Beauty, from not only corporate strategy, but also working on our conscious beauty program to the current role I have today in the merchandising side of the house.
Yeah. So from the time you joined Ulta to now, how much has the industry changed? Beauty industry, that is.
Yeah, I mean, tremendously, right? A lot of people were focusing on color cosmetics. And again, that continues to be on the rise, but we started to see a shift into skincare, right? And this is even before the pandemic. You notice a lot of the influencers, one of the driving factors is the influencers. A lot of them were getting older and were not only focused on having the right blush and having the right foundation, but they were concerned more about their skin health, right? And so they were tapping more into the skin products of things. You also saw a rise of K Beauty and J Beauty, as you know, which have amazing products as it relates to skincare. So I actually saw a lot of skin really rising to the occasion pre-pandemic as it relates to consumers, what consumers are looking to as it relates to choice. In addition to that, again, with Gen Zers, they love to have information in like small snackable pieces. And so you see a lot of trends with TikTok and Instagram and Reels and things of that nature, where you see a lot of young consumers really, tapping into the beauty space. A lot of them were exposed to it from their parents, but you could see that they were taking it on their own by finding products that really met their needs. So a lot has changed in beauty since I've been there over the past couple of years.
Yeah. So this past June, you announced your Muse Accelerator Program. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a 10-week program, and it's an opportunity to help kind of early stage BIPOC brands become more retail ready, really understanding what it takes to partner with a retailer. So they've had a proven track record from D2C, but when it comes down to working with a larger retailer, a lot of them have questions around supply chain, around brand strategy and positioning and things of that nature. So we put together a robust and really thoughtful program across a 10-week program that will give them a chance to learn from subject matter experts across various aspects of what it takes to thrive in the retail landscape. But we also gave them mentors where they're hearing from, founders from the beauty industry that would really talk to them about their experience and what it takes to really grow an amazing brand.
So, most industries, innovation is the word of the day, and most companies are looking for innovation. How will Muse foster innovation at Ulta?
Yeah, a couple ways. I mean, with this program, one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs need is resources, right? So from a monetary perspective to really take their program and their business to the next level, rather, but then they also need kind of the mentorship and the guidance to be able to navigate certain things. Because it's not just about having the idea and having that really great innovations, but it's how do you really drive it into products that you can sell and actually make a profit ultimately. So with this program, again, we provide the resources to really help a lot of these, entrepreneurs take their businesses to the next level and really learn about the fundamentals of what it takes to develop a really great brand to eventually, hopefully launch at a large retailer.
Yeah. So are all categories included in that program?
Yes, all beauty categories are included. We are not focusing on kind of beauty tech for right now, our services, but more so just beauty products. But all categories from skincare to cosmetics to hair care, you name it.
Yeah. So let's say you were to get some products from that program. Will there be a dedicated space in the store so that consumers will know exactly what they're looking at?
So with this 10-week program, we're actually not guaranteeing distribution. So at the end of the program, we're going to give the 8 entrepreneurs, so our cohort of 8 brands, the opportunity to meet with our beauty merchants at Ulta Beauty and talk about their business. And hopefully, there might be an opportunity for them to launch. But, with this program, again, it's giving them the tools and the resources that they need to become retail ready. But we'll give them the opportunity to connect with our merchants to talk about their businesses in case that there is a chance for launch.
Okay. So I'm assuming then that the program is for actual folks who produce products and not necessarily services or apps. Or anything like
correct, just products. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, where will those products be then displayed? In the store, or will they be in other places? Does it have to be in Target, Ulta?
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, the brands that are currently in our cohort don't have kind of large major retail distribution to date. And that's the whole purpose of this program, getting them ready for that and understanding what it takes to thrive in that kind of landscape. But as I mentioned, it's not guaranteed that we will launch these brands. We will give the brands the opportunity to connect with the merchants to see if there's a right fit, right? So we want to use this 10 weeks as a way for the brands to get to know us and for us to get to know them as well.
Yeah. So when you look ahead 3, 4, 5 years, what would success look like for you as part of this program?
Yeah, I mean, success for me is really closing the wealth gap facing, these underserved communities, these entrepreneurs, right? When you think about VC funding, and I know this stat's a little outdated, but I'm sure it holds true today. In 2020, less than 3% of the dollars that was given out to entrepreneurs in 2020 were given to people of color. And this is not just beauty. This is just industry agnostic, right? So if you can imagine how many of those beauty entrepreneurs actually receive VC funding, not a lot, right? So I'm hoping that programs like this will kind of help and shape the industry to provide more resources and access to founders of color who have really great innovation, really great products, and really just need that opportunity to be able to, share their products with the world.
Yeah. So what do you think will be next in beauty that journalists such as myself should be looking at? Because, we're always looking for what's around the corner, basically.
Right. So
What do you
in terms
think
of
we should?
beauty innovation,
Well, yeah, in the beauty space in general.
I think you're going to continue to see, more brands. I mean, there's a lot of innovation out there. There's a lot of, white space opportunities to be had where a lot of these entrepreneurs are really rising to the occasion. So I think you're going to see a lot of innovative products, especially when it comes down to the clean space. I think that's a place that continues to be, continues to be growing. So I think a lot of brands are coming out of the gate with really thoughtful ingredients and even sustainable packaging, cruelty-free, and things of that nature. So I think, from a pipeline, there's going to be a lot more brands that are going to continue to play in the clean beauty space.
So one more question I have for you, and it might not be related, but when I was at TSC, a few people told me that watch out for men's grooming, men's beauty. What do you say about that? Do you feel the same way?
I do. It's interesting, the men's grooming space, because a lot of men are really embracing what that industry has to offer. And I actually, anecdotally, I have a lot of my friends. They'll say, like, I look at what I have in my cabinet, and then I look at what my wife has in her cabinet, and I realize that, like, I need to really step my game up and buy more products. So I have a lot of my guy friends asking me about skincare regimens and routines because they are really focused on that. The one interesting thing, though, is how they shop, right? You won't see, from my experience, a lot of them will shop online versus going into a store and picking up their grooming products specifically. So interesting to see, like, the way that they're shopping. But when it comes down to grooming, outside of obviously, shaving and things of that nature, when it comes down to skincare, that is going to continue to be on the rise. So hopefully you have a good basket of beauty goodies that you are tapping into.
Well, when people used to always ask me, what do you use? Whatever my wife uses.
Right, exactly. But a lot of them want their own products now, right? So,
but now she does buy me stuff specifically for me, moisturizers and that sort of thing. So I think it's interesting that both parallel tracks are happening at the same time. So it's good for the industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Renee, thank you so much for talking to us today. We learned a lot. We really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.